not looking for the policy police. Give me someone with great customer service skills. I can teach them procurement. Let's explore what transferable skills work in procurement, and even if you've been in procurement for a long time and want to venture off into other areas. Welcome. My name is Catherine. I have been doing public sector procurement for 24 plus years. Prior to that, working in the private sector, and I have a lot of stories to tell, tips and tricks to make your procurement life much easier. Most recent years, it's been really difficult to find qualified staff. We don't necessarily need someone that knows everything about procurement. We need good customer service skills, and we were doing this in the early 2000s as well. We don't need policy police. We don't need to beat the end users over the head with a baseball bat because they want to just direct award things. We want people to teach them and solve problems and help them understand what's in it for them. Ideally, the procurement department is there to protect the organization from risk and to be open, fair, and transparent to the marketplace and to the stakeholders. We're spending taxpayers' money. We're all taxpayers. And I got to tell you, vendors are the biggest tax-paying complainers. If you don't do the process that's open, fair, and transparent, the first people to complain are the vendors. So, transferable skills, communication. You need to be able to talk with your end users, listen, and you need to be able to present to vendors, communicate well in writing the RFP requirements and evaluation process. The reason why you need to be able to write effectively is we need an audit trail in the public sector of the request for proposals. So conveying our requirements in written form, very strong writing skills. So if you've got great writing skills and convey complex information in written form, that's a great skill to have for procurement. Highlight that. Being able to explain things like policy, legislation to an end user who doesn't necessarily want to read the 50-page law, that's a great skill to have. Next, business operations, strategic thinking. In procurement, we touch on a lot of different areas. We work with a lot of different end users. We could be buying IT, we could be buying photocopiers, we could be buying consulting services, we could be buying temporary agency services, we could be buying sand, we could be buying construction. We get to learn a little bit about a lot of stuff, but ultimately, our subject matter experts are in other departments. So if we have a broader view of the organization and understand how all the pieces fit, that's a great skill to have, to be able to understand how we fit in their process or how their process fits in the grand scheme of things, helps develop the requirements better. They may work in their area, but they may not have the full global view themselves. So because we are a hub across the organization, knowing all the various operations and systems across the organization is a great skill to have. Again, if you come from another area and you understand finance, you understand communications marketing, you understand the business operations, that's a great transferable skill for procurement. Next, the technical and computer skills. Those are highly sought after, especially if we're doing a lot of buying on the IT side. But also, we need to be able to work with technology and computer systems in a variety of methods. How we post our request documents publicly, how we organize and collaborate on documents in a SharePoint site with our end users, how we use software to evaluate proposals and score proposals, compile information. Technology is a very big part of the process. In some organizations, they may not have the tools to, like an ERP system, enterprise resource planning system. We may not have that in all places, but being able to track progress of projects, track the number of responses you're getting, track requirements and contracts, Excel, Outlook, various productivity tools, highlight those. Even if you don't have an ERP system experience, or the organization you're going to doesn't have an ERP system, being able to speak to how you can manage inflow and outflow of information using technology, leveraging technology, great transferable skill to have. Next transferable skill, team building, collaboration skills. In procurement, you are working across a number of departments, and in some cases, the procurement will span multiple stakeholders. You need to be able to have those stakeholders all on the same page so that you're not in a process with competing priorities. So, team building, collaboration, great transferable skill to have. Policy development and interpretation. A lot of what public procurement deals with is legislation, regulation, contract law, rules and regulations, and it's constantly changing. We learn lessons from every procurement we have. And in some cases, those procurements teach us something to make sure we cover off in our next process. We need to explain this to end users who don't deal with procurement a lot. But the policy interpretation and understanding how they affect what we're doing, being able to interpret legislation assists us in communicating with our end users. In some cases, a new legislation comes out and you need to figure out how is this going to affect a procurement. Another transferable skill would be being able to develop a policy to avoid a risk that has come up in a previous process. Research skills. This is my favorite part of procurement. You learn a little bit about a lot of things. Although your subject matter experts are the ones who give you the detailed information of what they require and their understanding of it, you need to do some research yourself and consider it from a procurement point of view. Your end users know what they need at the end of the day, what's required at the end of the day. But you need to figure out, how would we evaluate this? How would somebody prove to me they can do this? So researching other RFPs, researching other contracts, researching a bit about that particular item or service that you are about to buy so that you have a basic understanding and can ask some questions of your end users. And you may trigger things that they just assume, but you, without knowing, would highlight it. You're a fresh set of eyes, but doing a bit of research and digging can help you. Now, on the flip side, a lot of these skills in procurement are transferable to move into other areas. Have anyone who's experienced in procurement may move into operations. They may move into administration. They may move into project management. Depending on how technical you are on the procurement side, you might move into a business analyst position. I've seen it from a really great procurement specialist that I taught way back in 2007, I believe. She was one of my top students, and she chose to move into IT business analyst position, and she's done really well for herself. So hope this was helpful. There are a lot of transferable skills to move into a career in procurement or move out of a career in procurement to try something new. Any questions, please drop them below, and hope to see you next week.